Your memory isn't failing. Your timeline is shifting. Look at the objects on the desk in front of you, the way the light hits the wall. You believe this is solid. You believe this is permanent. You are wrong. Every morning you wake up and perform a ritual of recognition. You look at your phone, your hands, your reflection, and you convince yourself that you are the same person you were 10 hours ago. But the friction is starting to show. You felt it. That sudden, cold shiver in a room that isn't cold. The sensation that you've misplaced a memory that was vivid only seconds ago. Or perhaps, the most jarring glitch of all, the feeling that you are a stranger in your own life, watching a body move through a day that doesn't belong to you. These are not malfunctions of your mind. They are the artifacts of a collision. Multiple realities are overlapping right now. They are bleeding through the cracks of your routine. You are living in a quantum leak. The version of you that is successful, the version that is grieving, and the version that is simply gone, they are all occupying the same coordinate in space. You think you are waiting for change to happen in the future, but the future is already here, vibrating at a frequency you've been trained to ignore. The glitch is the only thing that's real. Everything else is just a habit of the light. Why can't you see it? Why do you keep falling back into the same stale story of who you are? Why do you return, like a ghost, to the same anxieties, the same limitations, and the same narrow view of what is possible? The answer is hidden in your neural architecture. Deep within the center of your skull sits the thalamus, a grand conductor of a very limited orchestra. It is your sensory gatekeeper. Every single second, the quantum field screams at you with millions of bits of data. Infinite possibilities, colors you haven't named, and timelines where you are already free. But the thalamus whispers, no. It filters out 99% of that cosmic noise to ensure you can find your car keys. It edits the infinite, leaving you with only the mundane. Your brain is not a window, it is a fortress. It is designed to keep the world out, not to let it in. Behind that gate sits the amygdala, the ancient guardian of your old self. This part of you is millions of years old, and it has a very simple, brutal job: keep you alive. To your amygdala, the known, even if it is a life of quiet desperation, even if it is a job that kills your spirit, is considered safe. The unknown, that overlapping reality where you are powerful and unrecognizable, is interpreted by your biology as a death threat. Every time you try to think a new thought, every time you reach for a reality that contradicts your past, your brain chemistry triggers a biological alarm. It floods your system with the cortisol of yesterday. It creates a physical heaviness in your chest to pull you back. It forces you to phase lock into the old reality just to keep your heart beating in a predictable rhythm. You are literally addicted to the chemical signature of your own limitations. Think about your neural pathways. They are like deep, muddy ruts in a well-worn road. Through a process called neural pruning, your brain has spent years cutting away the connections you don't use, the connections to your creativity, your joy, your spontaneity, while reinforcing the highways of your anxiety and your small self. Your brain is the efficiency machine. It prunes away the useless pathways of the dreamer to make more room for the survivor. By the time you are an adult, your brain is a rigid machine of habit. You aren't seeing the world as it is. You are seeing a digital reconstruction of how you were 5 years ago. You are looking at a faded photograph and calling it the horizon. To create a new reality, to step into the overlap, you must perform an act of biological treason. You have to override your brain's primary directive, staying safe. You have to convince your nervous system that the death of your old identity is actually the only way to live. Most people fail here. They feel the discomfort of the glitch and they run back to the familiar. They mistake the fear of growth for a signal to stop, but the discomfort you feel right now, that strange tension in your forehead, that is the sound of new neurons trying to fire in a dark room. The old you is trying to keep the lights off. It's time to stop listening to the guardian at the gate. But the biology is only half of the story. To understand why your life feels like a flickering hologram, we must look at the light itself. Imagine a cinema where the projector has malfunctioned. On the screen, two different movies are being played at the exact same time, frame over frame. One movie is a tragedy, a story of lack, of missed connections, of the person you've been for a decade. The other movie is a masterpiece, a narrative, of effortless abundance and total clarity. They are both there, right now, in front of your eyes. The only reason you are living the tragedy is because of the observer effect. In the quantum world, a particle doesn't choose a position until it is looked at. Until that moment, it is a wave, a ghost, a smudge of pure potential. Your attention is the hand that reaches into the static and pulls out a solid object. By looking at your bank balance with fear, by looking at your partner with resentment, by looking at your body with judgment, you are locking the tragedy into place. You are collapsing the wave into the same miserable particle over and over again. This is the interference pattern of the soul. When you sit in your room and wish for a solution while staring intently at your problem, you are creating a collision of frequencies. You're trying to watch two movies at once, but the images are blurring together. You aren't in the old reality, and you aren't in the new one. You are living in the gray space between them. Stagnation is not a lack of movement. It is the result of two opposing realities canceling each other out. You feel exhausted because you are holding two worlds in your hands and trying to force them to be one. You are trying to build a bridge between a solid past and a liquid future, and the weight is crushing you. The quantum leak happens when you finally stop trying to resolve the blur. Physics tells us that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. But it goes deeper than that. You must stop looking at the screen entirely. The old movie only has power as long as it has an audience. The moment you withdraw your gaze, the moment you become indifferent to the fact of your current circumstances, the projection begins to lose its density. The light begins to bleed. The collision is not something to be feared. It is the moment the glass begins to crack. It is the proof that the solid world is losing its grip on you. You are standing in the middle of a collapsing set, and for the first time you can see the wires. You can see the empty space behind the walls. You are realizing that the problem was never real. It was just a localized density of your own attention. Stop trying to fix the projection. Step behind the lens. Now, the screen goes black. This is the moment most people turn back. This is the identity collapse. As you withdraw your attention from the old movie, a terrifying thing begins to happen. You enter the void. It is a silent, featureless space where the person you used to be has dissolved, but the person you are becoming has not yet arrived. It feels like a death. It feels like being lost in a thick, white fog where the landmarks of your personality, your past, your labels, your story, have all vanished. You will feel an urge to reach out and grab anything familiar, even if it hurts you. You will want to fix yourself. You will think, if I can just heal this trauma, if I can just resolve this debt, then I will be ready. But self-improvement is a subtle trap. When you focus on fixing yourself, you are sending a powerful command to the quantum field. You are declaring, I am broken. And the field, in its infinite neutrality, simply says, correct. It locks you into a reality where you are eternally almost there, forever chasing a wholeness that remains just out of reach. Fixing yourself is the ultimate barrier to manifesting because it requires you to stay in the version of reality where the problem is real. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be eclipsed. The void is not a hole, it is a womb. That heavy, hollow feeling in your chest, the one you've been trying to distract yourself from with noise and scrolling, that is the highest state of quantum potential. In the void, you are no longer a thing. You are no longer a name, a gender, a profession, or a failure. You are pure, unassigned awareness. This is where the transformation happens, not in the doing, but in the undoing. Think about a seed in the earth. Before it can become the tree, it must undergo a total structural collapse. It must stop being a seed. It must lose its form, its protection, and its identity. From the perspective of the seed, this is the end of the world. From the perspective of the forest, it is the only way to begin. You are currently in the soil. The reason your life feels like it's falling apart is because it is. The structures that supported your small self are buckling under the weight of the overlapping reality. The feeling of being lost is actually the sensation of your internal GPS losing its signal to the old world. Stay in the fog. Do not try to build a fire to see where you are. Do not try to run back to the burning house of your past. The void is the only place where the laws of your history do not apply. It is the only place where you are truly free to choose a new frequency. Breathe into the emptiness. The silence isn't an absence of life. It is the sound of every possibility waiting for your command. You are not losing your mind. You are finally losing the you that was never enough. In this space, you are finally ready to anchor. The void is not a destination, it is a decision. To stop the bleed between who you were and who you are, you must master the art of phase locking. Think of your awareness as a tuning fork. Most of your life, you have been vibrating in sympathy with the leaks of your old reality, the bills, the old arguments, the heavy expectations of people who only know the ghost of you. When you focus on these things, you lock your molecules into that decaying timeline. Phase locking is the act of becoming biologically unresponsive to the old evidence. When you see a glitch, a moment of lack, or a flash of your old identity, you must learn to look through it, not at it. Treat the sensory world like a low-quality recording that is fading out. Do not argue with it. Do not try to fix it. Simply recognize that it is a delayed projection of a version of you that no longer exists. Your job is to hold the frequency of the masterpiece, even when the screen is still showing the tragedy. This is the resonance loop. By maintaining your internal state regardless of the external leak, you force the quantum field to reorganize itself around your new coordinate. You are no longer a victim of the overlap. You are the anchor point that determines which reality becomes solid. The friction you feel today is the sound of the gears of the universe shifting to accommodate your new resonance. Take a final look around your room. Notice the silence. Notice the space between the thoughts you used to have and the stillness you feel now. You are standing at the exact center of a miracle, a localized collapse of infinite possibilities into one single glorious now. You are finally awake to the mechanics of your own creation. You didn't click on this video to learn something new. You clicked because the other version of you is already trying to wake you up. Your memory isn't failing, your timeline is shifting.